Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing 1997 Nasser Sonbaty and 2024 Arnold Classic Hadi Choopan. I found that both are very similar in terms of shape and conditioning, with Nasser being like a larger, slightly less conditioned version of Hadi. They both have similar strengths and weaknesses, so this should be a rather fun comparison. Before the video does start, a like and sub would be much appreciated as it helps out the channel tremendously. With that all being said though, let's get into this video. The first pose, the front double, is a very aesthetic pose for these two. Both have great midsections, flaring lats, impressive arms, and solid quads. Conditioning-wise, Hadi appears to have the better separation of the arms, abs, and intercostals. However, the lighting and quality of the photo for Nasser may wash out those details. Nasser's larger frame looks very imposing in this pose, drawing lots of attention to his massive arms, larger quads, and great silhouette. His longer limbs allow him to open up a considerable amount more than Hadi, who looks stout and compact in comparison. Hadi isn't getting out-muscled though, packing tons of dense, grainy mass throughout his smaller frame. That being said, I prefer the better aesthetics and shape of Nasser over the slightly denser, more conditioned Hadi. He just appeals more to me due to his larger arms and longer quads, which gives him the edge in my opinion. Here's the front lat spread, and in this pose, you can see that Hadi appears twice as conditioned as Nasser. While it is true that the 1997 Olympia photos do no justice to really anyone due to their inability to show conditioning and detail, Hadi clearly has more muscle maturity and density on his smaller frame. Nasser definitely isn't unconditioned, however, he doesn't feature the same cuts in the quads, arm separation, or chest detail of Hadi. Sure, he looks absolutely massive and aesthetic simultaneously, however, he doesn't have that hard, grainy conditioning of Hadi. Hadi, while not nearly as big, has tremendous muscle separation and competitive size as well. While I'm not the biggest fan of his angular delts, pointy elbows, or lackluster arms, there is no denying that his lats, shoulder width, and quads are just as impressive as Nasser's, if not more so. I would definitely go with Hadi due to conditioning, however, Nasser's formidable size and height definitely turns heads. The side chest is surprisingly close between these two from a size standpoint. Both are very competitive in the arm, delt, chest, and midsection departments, which definitely favors Hadi, as a smaller competitor with similar size to the larger one will always look a bit more impressive and dense. Nasser absolutely blows Hadi out of the water in the side leg size. However, Hadi has finer details and deeper cuts, although he does lack the quad and hamstring size to compete in that area. Upstairs, Hadi does appear more detailed and grainy, especially in the midsection, far pec, and arm, with Nasser appearing a bit smoother and not nearly as dry. I'd give Hadi the win in the upper body for that matter, while Nasser slightly has an advantage in the side leg. For the overall pose, I'd be more inclined to give Hadi the win for his stellar conditioning and great total package. He beats Nasser in the upper body more convincingly than Nasser beats him in the side leg, and he shuts the door with that stark conditioning disparity, so therefore I would give Hadi the pose. The rear double is a pose that showcases Nasser and Hadi's weak points the clearest. While both are very aesthetic and conditioned frontally, their backsides are much less conditioned relative to their front side. Neither of them have phenomenal hamstring and glute separation, both possessing a thin film that hides the details in their lower bodies. This is much more evident for Nasser, who has tons of size, but lacks any real separation in the glutes and has decent, but not great hamstring separation. Thankfully, both have rather impressive backs, showcasing total development and solid conditioning. Nasser definitely takes the cake in the back though, as he is not only wider, but he also has a better lower back and more impressive separation. His arms, like in the front double, eclipse those of Hadi's, giving him a rather decisive win in the upper half. Downstairs is definitely a win for Hadi, but not by much, as he isn't much more conditioned than Nasser, nor does he have much more size. I'd definitely give this pose to Nasser for his better upper half and relatively decent legs compared to Hadi. However, this pose is definitely close. The rear lat spread might just be a different story to the last pose, as Hadi opens up so much more, challenging Nasser in both width and density. If anything, Hadi appears to have a better, thicker lower back, with Nasser's looking a bit shallow in comparison. Now, Nasser does have a great Christmas tree region with solid width and trap development in the back, and good definition overall. However, Hadi looks similar in every area apart from the Christmas tree. I'd say that Nasser appears to have thinner skin in the back, which was evident in the last pose as he had more detail. However, Hadi's density and thickness are on par, if not better than Nasser's in the back. The legs are the same story as the last pose though, with Hadi slightly winning due to conditioning. Although Nasser has some meaty calves, his lack of strided glutes and deeply cut hamstrings definitely hold him back. For this reason, I'd probably go with Hadi for the win, coupled with the fact that Hadi is just as wide and developed in the back, but on a shorter frame. Going back to the side, we have the side tricep, a pose which both are rather good in. Immediately though, my eyes are drawn to Hadi for his incredible dry hardness to his physique. His midsection exposes that of Nasser's as well, as he basically has zero water anywhere and detail for days. While Nasser may have the better arm and side leg in terms of size, he is so soft compared to Hadi and gets outclassed in that conditioning department. Not only does Hadi have the objectively better midsection, he also possesses much better flow and presents his physique in a near-perfect way. Sure, his arm and side leg and chest aren't the biggest out there, however, his conditioning and posing make up for it tenfold. This is definitely a Hadi pose in my opinion, however, if Nasser was a bit more dialed in, he would definitely challenge Hadi more. The ab and thighs, where the similarities for these two are apparent once again, as both showcase great V-tapers, solid quads, and phenomenal midsections. Nasser features some deeply separated abs, great control over the midsection, and an, above average amount of detail. In contrast though, Hadi takes what Nasser has and takes it up a notch, having one of the most defined midsections of the recent times. So much detail, so much definition, and near-perfect symmetry to match. Hadi is definitely the most impressive one in this pose of the current era in my opinion, and maybe of any era for that matter, and definitely is enough to win in this pose, as he smokes Nasser in almost every area. The last pose, the most muscular, is most certainly a take-home pose for Hadi. Look at the intricate separation of the chest, delts, arms, and midsection, and even in the quads, and tell me that he isn't winning this pose. While Nasser does have great size, the height advantage, and looks very imposing, he is definitely softer in the arms, doesn't have that wow factor from conditioning, and really doesn't stand out at all. He looks very standard in this pose, which isn't a bad thing, however, nothing grabs my attention. On the other hand, there's just so many things to see and find on Hadi's physique, and he presents a package that you rarely see on any other competitor. Normally, size and freak factor are rewarded in my comparisons for the most muscular. However, I feel as though Hadi's conditioning counts as freak factor, and therefore I would give him the win. Alright guys, that's it for this video. In short, I had this comparison ending in a 6-2 win for Hadi, since he absolutely crushed Nasser in conditioning. While poses like the front lat, rear lat, side chest, and possibly the side tricep were close, Hadi's conditioning was clearly ahead in every pose, leading to victories over the more massive Nasser. Do let me know down below what you thought of this comparison, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.